If you find yourself wanting a lot of these, so you could do a whole lot of this, or maybe you want to make a whole lot of these to eat, or maybe you just need a whole lot of this, so you can make a whole lot of this, or a whole lot of this. If that's the case, you're going to need a whole lot of this. Let's jump in. And first, we're going to start out with that ever important material list. Now, you're going to see this a little bit later. We're going to end up making 4 flying machines, but I want to tell you now, you can make this farm almost whatever size you want to. One flying machine is going to use these materials right here: pistons, sticky pistons, observers, slime blocks, obsidian, and a couple of solid blocks. Also, the Allay collection station and storage system is going to use these materials right here, including a note block. These are also okay to be any solid block that you want, including glass. And then last, if you're going to build the full-sized farm like I'm about to build for you right now on the tutorial, you're going to do it just like I'm doing it. This is what you're going to need. You're going to need this much sugarcane. It's quite a bit. You can farm it as you make the farm if you want to. You're going to need to have this many slabs of any type. Is going to be fine. And then these are the materials that you're going to need for the 4 different flying machines that we're going to build. And all of this is in addition to that storage system / Allay collection system. And then also you're going to want to have at least 3, if not 4 Allays. And I will show you how to make more of them because that feature just came out today in Bedrock Edition. Okay, so the most important thing that you're going to need to do today is put this thing in the right spot. And specifically, I'm talking about the flying machines. If you don't put the flying machines in the right spot, the flying machines are going to break. So make sure you pay attention where these things go. It's going to be important that you find your chunk borders to make this farm. If you don't know how to find chunk borders, hop on YouTube and search for how to find Minecraft Bedrock chunk borders. I actually have a pack you can download for PC or mobile in my Discord. Check the description down below and go to the add-ons section of my Discord channel. You can download it there. You can actually see it above my head. It says chunk edge. We're going to be using that. I'm going to come out here a little ways and we're going to try to find a chunk corner. There's an edge right here. So if I keep moving in one direction or the other, we should be able to find a corner. So these 2 are corner blocks right here. So I'm going to make one color, one another color just to mark them. And I need to go to the other side of this chunk, which is 16 blocks over. Actually, I don't want to get too close over to my stuff over there. So instead of using this one, I'm just going to go over to the other side. I don't think it'll be a big deal. So we'll mark this one right here, and then we'll find the next corner over here. Bam. So I've now marked 2 different chunks. So I'm going to make my flying machines right now, and I'm going to start on the far side of each chunk. I'm going to go up 2 blocks like this, and I'm going to come out 6 blocks with slime blocks. This can be any solid block right here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slime blocks, and then we're going to go in 1 slime block towards the inside of our farm. Next, we're going to place a temporary block here, place another slime block, erase that one, and then come out another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slime blocks and put a piece of stone here. I'm going to keep reorienting myself like this. That way you guys can kind of see how things are supposed to look. We're not going to add in the components to this for now. We'll add those in later because I don't want this thing to take off on me and me have to chase it down. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have another flying machine on this side right here. And it's going to come over the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it's going to come in 1. And just like we did over there, temporary block, slime block, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a solid block over there. And this is what you should have. This is actually 2 separate flying machines. One right here, one right here. And they are both inside of their own chunks, which is what we need. We're going to repeat that same thing that we did on that chunk edge and do the same thing on this chunk edge. So I'm just going to go up like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Bam. 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 Get out of here. Get on, horsey. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tap that off. Same thing over here. So we've just made the basic beginnings of 4 flying machines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to want to make sure that these things don't fly off anywhere that we don't want them to fly off to. So I'm just going to put a piece of obsidian right here and a piece of obsidian right here. I'll explain how all these things work when we finish off the flying machine. So don't worry, that part will come soon, but this will just make sure I don't lose my flying machines and have to freak out. Okay, next is our actual sugarcane. Let me actually grab a block here so we can at least easily show where the sugarcane is going to go. So from the very edge of your flying machine, let's say right here, we'll do it right in front of the slime block right here. I'm just going to put a temporary block right here. This is going to represent where water is going to go for my sugarcane here in a little bit. But we need to go 64 blocks in that direction. 64 blocks. I'll tell you why for that one in just a little bit too. It's going to matter when it comes to the allay. Okay, so now we have a little green block all the way here to here, and we're actually going to dig this as a trench for our water to go, because sugarcane has to be planted by water. So we're just going to take this all the way down, digging it out. And then we're going to skip 1-2 spaces and do that again. And we're going to keep doing that until we get all the way to the end of these 2 flying machines. And then we're going to do the same thing over here for this flying machine, starting out right here in front of this one and digging those trenches the exact same. Now that we have all of our water trenches dug, we need to make sure that when we send off these flying machines later, that they don't go on forever. We need a way for them to stop. Obsidian stops them. We discussed that earlier. So we want to stop them on that side, but just because of how this thing is shaped, we're going to stop them at like this level. So we're going to have this right here, hit obsidian down there, and that lines up pretty nicely with these trenches here. And then we can see that our obsidian needs to go back a certain number of blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go ahead and let's follow this trench right here. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bam, obsidian. Now it's the second trench over, so we can just kind of do the same thing over here. Bam, obsidian right there. I just got to do the same thing to that one. Now with the obsidian down there all ready to go, that means that we can add in the components to the flying machine, and I'm going to show you guys how they work really quick. We're going to take our observer. We're going to count out from this little edge, like corner right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 slime blocks. We're just going to set it right there. It's going to be facing out that way. This is where the face is. This is where the butt is. Now beside that, we're going to put a piston right here facing in. We're going to put another observer right there, and we're going to use a sticky piston right here. We're going to do the same thing this way, and the reason that you want to build it in this direction is because it won't set it off and make it start flying or doing anything. So just make sure you do it in the same way I'm showing you here. Observer, piston, observer, sticky piston. I'm going to go ahead and do that to all the other ones, and I'm going to show you how a flying machine works and why it does what it does. Okay, so that is all done. Why does this do what it does? So I'm going to end up triggering this thing off, but first I want you to know how it's going to happen, and it's going to work the same way with sugarcane, just bamboo's easier for my demonstration purposes right now. So what's going to happen is your sugarcane is going to grow up to this level right here, and an observer can tell that that happens. That's what it's looking for. It's looking for something to happen, a block being placed or an item growing. Those things are going to be what it can detect. Okay, so when the observer sees that, it sends a signal to this piston to make it open. When that piston opens, this observer can tell that piston opened, and then it's going to send a redstone signal out to this piston to tell it to open. Now this is a sticky piston. Sticky pistons are sticky, so it will extend out, and when it extends out, it will take all of these blocks with it, because slime is also sticky. So it's going to stick out, and it's going to move all of these blocks over. Well, this observer right here, he can tell that he moved, and then he's going to go through that same chain reaction, and then he's going to cause the slime blocks over here to move, and then it's going to kind of work in this like flying motion. It's a little hard to explain. It's a little bit easier to just show you. So if I put this here, you can see it is happening, right? So what's happening is this is pushing this one down, and then the piston kind of comes back, and then this one grabs that and moves this whole line forward. So that's how a flying machine works. They're pretty simple. They're really easy to make. They're a little bit different on Bedrock Edition than they are on Java Edition, but they still work very well as long as you don't do any weird things with chunk borders. Now, eventually this guy, it gets all the way down here, and since a piston cannot move obsidian, it gets there and it stops. And it's lined up perfectly. And then if we wanted to send it back, we would just need to set off this observer, the one in the back, right? So I could set this one off, and then it's going to work its way back. Now, this method that we're doing right here, it is so much better than any other method of getting sugarcane. So you could do like a sugarcane micro farm. Those aren't bad. You need to get a lot of bone meal for it, but there's a lot of ways to get bone meal. So I like those, and those are definitely worth building, and they're a lot smaller and more simple. But also, flying machine farms have been around for a while. You could make this before 1.19, but collection is the key. It was really hard to collect the items for this farm because underneath all of this, you had to have a crazy big and expensive network of rails underneath, because when those flying machines go across, they're going to knock sugarcane all over the place. And you have to pick it up somehow. Hopper mine carts below the ground used to be the way to do it. Let's get the rest of this set up though, and then we'll talk about the way you're going to do it now. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fill all of this in with water. And I'm going to recommend you actually fill it all. So you're going to just go across here, create water sources. You guys know how to create water sources by now for sure. So go ahead and just create water sources in all of these slots, just like I'm doing here. Now there's 2 more places that you're going to want to put some water. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a hole right here under the observer, put a water bucket right here, water underneath the observer, put a water bucket right here. We're going to do the same for this side over here. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to make this go off whenever sugarcane grows. So we're setting this off based on sugarcane growing, right? And you're never going to have it perfect. You're never going to have it to where that last piece of sugarcane that grows all the way up, this thing's going to go off. So this is going to be by far the easiest and most efficient way to tell this system to go. All right. But we're gonna put slabs in the top. It just keeps anything from going down and getting in there from going down, getting in, maybe from an allay from getting stuck in there, etc. And the water still counts as being there, so we can still plant things. And then next thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to go ahead and fill all the tops of this in with slabs too. Now this portion, this is where you're gonna start using your sugar cane. This much, in fact, this is how much it takes to do the whole farm. It's a lot. You don't have to start out with that much though. Just use what you got, okay? Whatever you have, start placing it down wherever. I would say start putting it in rows just to make it a little bit easier to keep track of. But whatever you get placed down, just let it start growing and let the farm start working. I could have just this one row right here. By the time I build all the stuff in the center, the farm's gonna work. And then I'm gonna get more sugar cane from all this. And then I could take that and plant more rows. So you don't have to get a billion pieces of sugar cane just to start working on this farm. Just use what you have. Just use what you have. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna place it all so you guys can see totally what this farm looks like. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we wanna just try to keep things from going too far away. Slime, when it hits this stuff, the sugar cane, it sends it flying. Now that's not a problem all the way over here because it just sends it flying further into the sugarcane. But when it gets all the way to the end going that way or the end going this way, sugarcane really goes flying. So what we can do is we could just build up a small barrier wall, something like this right here, that doesn't touch these. We don't want to touch the slime, but if we come all the way across here and bring it up right here, and it doesn't need to be incredibly tall either, just make it 2 blocks high, should be perfectly fine. It'll just keep the sugar cane from flinging too far out this way as it goes. I mean, it would probably come out to about right here. Our lay have to then go further to get the sugar cane. They may not even go far enough to get it. So if we kind of restrict that a little bit by putting a wall right here, doing that on that side, and that side, then we'll just make our farm just a little bit more efficient. Okay, now it is time to build our collection system. Now this is going to be easy. Remember, what we're avoiding having to do is put a billion minecart tracks, having several minecarts running all the way underneath here and literally taking hours to do all that. Instead, all we need is a small station for the allay. So what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to mark where our note block is going to go. You're going to need a note block. We're going to put it 5 blocks up in the air. Right there should be perfectly fine. And then we're going to circle some hoppers around there. I'm just going to throw a temporary block right here. And we're going to have hoppers go just like this all the way around. Knock this out. And then like this. So it's a big loop of hoppers. If you kind of look at the bottom and look, they're all facing into each other, making the items go around in a big circle. We're going to do that one more time. So let me put a temporary block right here. We'll just have it go in the same direction, I think, just like this. And that should work out nicely. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to actually send a signal to this because we want it to make sound. We need it to continually make sound, actually. And I want the sound to be kind of quiet. The 2 best blocks you can use for that are either going to be the bone block or the gold block. I kind of like the bone block better. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a bone block right there. I'm going to put a block right here, put a torch, and then I just need to send power to this block right here. Or if I want to hide my redstone a little bit better, I'm just going to kind of dig it down a little bit further, right? I'm just going to put another block right there. We are going to run a redstone torch to that. We need a comparator facing that. We're just going to have 2 hoppers looking at each other. I'm going to face one right there Face one right there. And this is just a basic hopper clock. It's pretty simple. It's going to work and do exactly what we need to do. You could use like 2 observers looking at each other, but they go kind of quick, right? They make a lot of sound. So this right here, this is going to work out really nicely. And I can cover this back up. And oh, by the way, I didn't say we're doing this like right in the center. So I counted out 32 blocks from here. And it is directly in the center going this way and going this way. And then the next thing we need to worry about is we want to make sure the allay does not get underneath here. So just so I can like see things really easily, and I'm not really too worried about decorating here. You guys would probably do some decorating here. I'm going to use some glass. You can use any solid block you want to. And we're just going to surround this entire farm. The reason that we're doing this is because when we bring the allay in, they will try to come to the bottom side of the note block and throw items down here. We want them to know that they can't get inside of here. So if I just do something like this, it's going to keep them from trying to go to the bottom, and instead they're going to come to the top. And maybe I'll just put like a solid block up here just to kind of differentiate this. Maybe we'll even fill in the corners. I don't know. Why not? Something like that looks pretty good. And then also I recommend go one more ring around just like this. Doing that will make sure that the allay doesn't kind of toss items that'll end up falling down there. You don't need any extra hoppers or anything like that around. It's fairly rare that items will fall on the side, and an allay will immediately pick it back up and put it down. Next, I told you you need some trapdoors. You need 12 of them. You're going to place them like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then close them all up like this. This is going to keep the allay from tossing items that would land and get stuck on top of the note block. You cannot just put a block on top of the note block. It makes the note block stop making sound. Any item you put on top of the note block is going to do that. Doesn't matter what the item is. So this will make sure that our note block stays on, but at the same time, the allay can't get any items stuck on top of it. And apparently an allay can go down in there and get stuck. So you might want to cap off this top. I've never seen them do that before. So put a little block up there. Now they won't be able to get in there. Next, we need storage. So if I chop these guys out right here, we can actually add some chests here. So I could do is go 1, 2, and I'm just going to have 3 double chests on each side. If you want this storage to be bigger, there's other ways that you could do this, but we're going to put chests on each side because this farm can potentially get to be so quick, so fast that these items aren't going to have like anywhere to go. They're going to get stuck. They're going to clog up the system, which is why we have 2 loops of hoppers there instead of a like single loop of hoppers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these hoppers right here. I'm going to come out like this to get underneath that, and like this, and then bam, we have items going in here. Again, I'm not doing a sophisticated storage system here. I personally just wanted to keep this simple, so regardless of your skill level in doing this, you're not going to have any trouble building this, and then you can install these storage system that you find best fit for the situation if you kind of have or know something that's going to work better for you. And what we did there, we're just going to do it all 4 sides, just like this. Okay, next, we need to duplicate the allay. So I've gotten away from there for now. And let's say we have an allay. And just so he stays with me, I'm going to give him an item. But we want more than one single allay. So to get more allay, we can actually clone it. The allays have an ability to clone themselves under the right conditions. So we'll put down a jukebox right here. We have to put a music disc in it. And the only music disc you can use, I'm just kidding, you can use any music disc, but the only music disc you should want to use is other side. As you can see, he's dancing, he likes it. Now, all you have to do is click it with a shard, and bam, he's made a second allay instantly. As you can see, they're loving it. Now, it takes, I think, 2 minutes, if I remember correctly, before you can breed them up again, and then get yourself up to 4 allays. Now, once you have 4 dancing allays around you, get yourself 4 pieces of sugarcane, get an empty item slot, and click the allay to take the item away. Give them a sugarcane, and do that with all 4 of the allay that you have with you. Okay, now we have 4 allay that are willing to follow us. We're gonna turn off the music here, and we're gonna bring these guys over to the note block that's pinging over here. Once they get in range of this note block, that's it. They're going to be locked. As long as they hear this note block sound once every 30 seconds, they will stay in the area. Which brings me to another good and important point. You're going to want to AFK or leave yourself pretty close to this farm. I've designed this farm in a way that will work perfect for any simulation distance world. If you play on a realm, if you play on a device that only plays simulation distance 4, the farm's going to work perfectly fine. If you play on a higher simulation distance, obviously it's still going to work fine. But the reason that's important is because that means that flying machines and mobs will only work a certain distance away from you, the player. So if you leave this system running and then you go way out over here, let's say you get out here and you're doing something else. Once those flying machines, if they're over here, if they take off, they're going to stop at some point because they're not loaded anymore. Those Allays are going to stop at some point. Sometimes they may come over here for a little while to pick up sugarcane. And if you're out this way, they may not remember that they have the note block that they're assigned to, and then they'll start following you, the player. So as long as you AFK pretty much anywhere inside of this strip, you're good. The Allays are going to work perfectly fine. Speaking of which, now we need to get this farm rolling. So I'm going to actually trigger off all 4 of these sides because I don't have water or sugarcane over here. So we're going to set off this side right here by putting our sugarcane back down like this, like this, like this, and like this. Now, as you can see, all 4 of these are going. It is knocking off any sugarcane that has grown up, and the Allay, they're active. This farm is actually working right now. The Allay, they will pick up all of the sugarcane in the area because I've given them a piece of sugarcane to make them pick that up. And then once they are full in their inventory, an Allay can hold whatever item is in its hand plus a full stack of that same item. And it will come and it will throw them here because this note block is playing. Also, this doubles as a wandering trader killing system. So hopefully this will kill off the wandering trader. Actually, I don't think it will. It's just going to trap him over there. But one can only hope. As you can see, look, they are throwing their items in there. Sometimes they're going to pick up each other's items, like he's picking them up, but then he's going to throw them back over. It makes the farm slightly less efficient, but overall, these guys are going to very easily be able to keep up with the sugarcane that's being produced from both sides. If anything, 4 is probably a little overkill. You could probably manage with 2, almost definitely manage with 3. The reason I did 4 is because I did testing to where if you had every single sugarcane stalk at this height right here, and the machines went through and knocked it all down at the same time, 4 Allays would be able to get it all before it despawns. That situation is never going to happen, so you don't have to worry about that. What will happen is like this flying machine will go off, and then, you know, a few minutes later this one, several minutes after that, one of these ones will go off. It'll kind of like stagger itself, so that's why 2 Allays would probably almost definitely be able to keep up. But if you want to just protect yourself, make the farm a little bit quicker, whatever, you can have 4 Allays. Let's go ahead and take care of this side right here really quick. We're going to set off the back one by putting some water here. We could cover that over, put sugarcane. We'll send that guy off right there. We'll do the same thing with this side right here. Water, cover that over, sugarcane, send that guy off. And we'll do the same thing over here. And there we go. Every sugarcane has grown to maximum height. Let's go ahead. Let's set this thing off. So you guys saw that in a time lapse, a full harvest. Full harvest will never ever happen in your lifetime unless you like specifically turn it off and then turn it back on. And we did end up having a few items on the edges here despawn. It's not worth adding in another Allay for because you'll never have the situation happen. But I wanted to acknowledge that did occur. But look at all the items that we got from one full harvest. We got this, we got this, we got this, and we got this over here. You're talking about pretty much a full double chest. One harvest got a full double chest. How awesome is that? And that's going to be it for today's video. If you would like to get a download of this world, I can't point the right direction, right here, check the description down below. I will have a link to my public download folder where I put all of my tutorial worlds. If you enjoyed this video, you have to give a thumbs up because that gets the video seen by more people and recommended more frequently by YouTube. Click the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed because I come out with great tutorials like this all the time. If you want to monetarily support the channel, leave a super thanks on this video by clicking the little $sign button below, or click the join button to become a channel member, which will get you access to my servers. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the farm and you have a good day. Bye.